Hello, everyone, and welcome to Empower Global Coaching Ministries podcast. Be an encourager. This is your host, Clarabel Coriano, Transformational Life Coach. I am so happy you are joining us today. Hello, everyone. Today I have the pleasure to interview our 30th guest for 2024, founder and speaker, educator, and TV show host, and best-selling international author. Stephne heads the Love Misunderstood Institute, and we share a little bit about the institute, and also her expertise and words of encouragement at the end. So the topic for today is a really interesting topic: the harmful effect of cyberbullying and gangstalking. So we welcome Stephne to Be an Encourager podcast. So it's so great to have you back.
Thank
And
you.
you're welcome. I'm just going to share just the points that we're going to be touching on so people can know. So today's conversation is going to be on the different forms of cyberbullying, like cyber extortion, internet blackmailing, sextortion, romance scams, email scams, identity theft, trolling, gun stalking, and online haters. And then lastly, cyber monitoring and logarithm hackers and boots, I think they call it. And just, we might not get to all of them, but if not, we'll come back, okay? The title for today is The Harmful Effects of Cyberbullying. And I would like you to share some facts before we start this conversation of cyberbullying. And I know you're going to share on this. So according to the government website on bullying, more than 80% of cell phones are the open windows to cyberbullying. By obtaining your cell phone number, they can be private to your personal information. So my first question to you is, can you explain to the viewers what exactly cyberbullying consists of?
Yes, I can. Cyberbullying involves using digital platforms like social media, messaging apps, websites, and online forums to harass, to harm, or intimidate others. Unlike face to face bullying, cyberbullying can occur 24/7. It reaches a wider audience quickly and often remain online, creating long lasting effects.
Wow. You mentioned that it can be like a 24-hour kind of monitoring and private into people's information. Can you
Yeah, because
Mhm.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but 24/7 because we have our phones and we have all this, we have our computers and everything available 24/7. At any time we want to pick it up, we have it to do what to cause harm or to intimidate, so that's why it's 24/7.
Oh, okay, I see. Can you explain what forms of bullying exist so that the listeners can be informed about what to look for? And the first question, I have researched and learned that predominantly teens are the highest rates of target of cyberbullying. 1 out of 10 have reported cyberbullying. However, 31% of adults are also cyberbullied and also been targeted through online social media and online dating website. Can you share how prevalent this is and what is sextortion and the romance scams? Because it's something that it's been talked a lot about lately in different social media platforms.
So yes, I can. So as for prevalence, recent studies does indicate that nearly 40% people across all age groups have experienced some form of cyberbullying, whether through hurtful messages, public shaming, or impersonation. Platforms that are meant for connection, like social media, have become spaces where people are increasingly vulnerable to these types of attacks. So, sextortion is a type of blackmail where someone threatens to release private, often intimate images or videos of another person unless they're paid or given additional compromising material. So, this usually begins when someone gains access to explicit photos or recordings, often through hacking, coercion, or manipulation. So, as for romance scams, which is also called catfishing, it involves fraudsters who create fake online profiles, usually
Mhm,
on dating sites or social media, to build a false romantic relationship with someone.
mhm.
Over time, the scammer gains the victim's trust, and then they often, with emotional appeals, and eventually starts asking for money under various pretenses,
Mhm.
like medical emergencies, travel expenses, or family's needs. And I've seen a lot of that happen. So they keep stringing the victim along, asking for more funds until the person realizes they've been scammed, often after thousands of dollars have been lost.
Wow, that's really serious. And I read an article that was talking about how they use psychological manipulation, and they basically kind of like form, it's almost like a trauma bond as well, because they form this relationship with people and they make the people believe that they're actually that person. And
Yes,
I also saw in Dr. Phil, one of the a lady, and she believed that that man was real.
yeah,
And it is sickening to see that people will put, innocent people through that hell. So
yes.
what can a person do to protect themselves from this type of cyberbullying?
So they can remember scammers, they prey on trust and vulnerability, but by being cautious and staying aware, we can reduce their chances of success and protect ourselves and our loved ones. So um, being proactive and mindful online can make a big difference. And here's a few key steps. I won't go into detail for the sake of time, but
Mhm,
um, limit your sharing personal information. That's number one. Number two, guard private photos and videos.
mhm,
Number three, verify identities. And so to go into that one a little bit, if you're connecting with someone new, especially on dating platforms, do a little background check. Look for consistency across their social media profiles. Use reverse image searches to see if their pictures are taken from elsewhere, and be cautious. If they seem too perfect or push for an intense
mhm.
relationship very quickly, then you know they're a scammer. Um, Number four, watch for red flags. Number five, strengthen your privacy settings. Number six, seek support if threatened. And number seven, educate yourself and stay updated. That's so important. So do your own investigation to find out, is this really who they say they are?
Those are all great tips for anyone, especially like if you go into the dating website, you might as well go through that whole list and, before you connect with someone, because you run the risk of scammers. They love the dating website. And like you said,
Yeah.
they use a lot of psychology, they use a lot of the hook. It's almost like a narcissistic, it just came
Yeah.
to my mind. It's almost like a narcissistic, right? Relationship, because they
Yeah.
like love bomb you, but
Yes.
then when they're demanding money or they're demanding attention, it's just like a violent kind of,
Yeah.
demeanor.
Yeah.
So yes, we want to keep everyone safe from that, going through that type of situation. So
Yeah.
the next form of cyberbullying is email scam, identity theft, and all of which create a lot of frustration for the individual, the loss of finances, the hardship, as well as emotional suffering that it creates. Can you share more detail? What constitute email scams and identity theft, and why do people commit such horrible crimes like this?
So, email scams and identity theft are two troubling forms of cybercrime that affect millions of people worldwide. So, I want to break down each one so it's easy to spot the signs.
Mhm,
First, an email scam usually involves a deceptive message sent to trick somebody into sharing personal information, like passwords, credit card numbers, or bank details. A classic example of the phishing email, which might look like it's from a bank or a familiar company, it might say something like, "There's an issue with your account. Click here to resolve it." When the person clicks, they're taken to a fake website where any information they enter is captured by the scammer. So, identity theft, on the other hand, happens when somebody steals another person's private information,
Mm,
like social security card, date of birth, a credit card details, and then they use it to impersonate them. They might open bank accounts, apply for credit cards, or even file taxes in the victim's name. For the person affected, the results can be devastated with stolen money, damaged credit, and years spent untangling the mess.
mm,
So, why do people commit these crimes? At its core, it's about profit and power. Scammers see these tactics as a fast way to make money, and unfortunately, the anonymity of the internet makes it easier for them to operate from anywhere in the world. Some may also feel a sense of control or satisfaction in manipulating others. It's so heartbreaking that some people choose to hurt others for the personal gain. And there's steps we can take to stay safe. If something feels off, like an unexpected email asking for sensitive information, it's always best to double check directly with the company or organization. And staying alert to these scams and protecting our information is key to preventing these scams and holding on to our peace of mind. We need peace of mind, don't we?
yes, definitely, definitely. From what I heard you say, it's they put baits out there, and
Yes.
they look legit, or you might even receive a letter. You might even receive, because I have received letters. I never called one number. It's in the letter, but I called my bank, or I called whatever entity they say in there are, and let them know, okay, I received this letter. Is this from you? And they tell me, no, that's a scam. So doing that, instead of calling the number in the letter that you receive or the email, it's best to call the company. So that way the company is also aware, and they can also put like a high risk
Yeah,
of flag.
a
That way
block.
they can, yeah, so they can protect your account.
Yes.
And I heard you say it brings a lot of damage,
Yes.
financial damage. It's quite a lot. And I feel bad for the victim, but I also very upset at the people that do that.
Yes. I
Um,
agree.
mhm. So, according to an article in Psychology Today by Sue Chef, released in November 29, 2019, titled Adult Cyberbullying is More Common Than You Think. And Sue states that the answer is fairly simple. The internet can be a cesspool of trolls and haters of all ages. Online harassment isn't about children only. More and more, we read headlines of grown-ups acting badly in social media. Now, we are going to speak on trolling, gang stalking, online haters, and cyber monitoring and logarithm hackers, because that's what they do. In both depositors, they tag your computers as a form of theft and cyberbullying. And can you share a little bit about how harmful this type of bullying is?
So, trolling, gang stalking, online haters, monitoring, logarithmic hacking, and bot attacks have become all too common in the digital world, and each carries its own risk and harms. And I'll break that down. So, trolling and online haters, trolling involves post inflammatory or disruptive comments meant to provoke or upset others, while online haters leave targeted hostile messages. So while these may sound like minor annoyances, they can lead to significant mental health issues for those targeted, causing stress, anxiety, and self doubt. Over time, persistent trolling can feel like a form of emotional abuse. So, as for gang stalking is an organized form of harassment where multiple people engage in coordinated actions to intimidate or to control an individual victim online. Victims may feel like they're constantly being watched or targeted, leading to paranoia, depression, and even withdrawal from online spaces. This type of harassment is especially damaging because it isolates the person, making them feel helpless and alone. And feeling isolated is a horrible place to be,
Mm-hmm.
um, to feel. So cyber monitoring occurs when someone tracks or surveils another person online, their online activity, often without their knowledge. This can happen without spy. This can happen through spyware or even by hacking social media accounts. Monitoring invades personal privacy and can leave the person feeling like they have no control over their life. That's horrible. It's particularly harmful in situations where an abuser uses it to control a victim or monitor their every move. Logarithmic hacking. Hackers use algorithms to target accounts and systems on a massive scale. This can include anything from brute force password attempts to sophisticated techniques that exploit weaknesses in a system. The aim is often financial gain or data theft, and the impacts can be serious: lost money, stolen identities, and an increased risk of future cyber crime. So, lastly, bot depositors. Bots are automated accounts used to spam, mislead, or manipulate online systems, often by leaving fake reviews, promoting scams, or disrupting forums. Bot deposits can create misleading information online and manipulate public opinion, making it hard to trust what we see and what we hear. In some cases, they're also used to gather personal data for later exploitation.
Wow, that's quite a lot. And
Yeah,
I also heard that they also can steal they can steal your voice and use your voice and pretend that they are
that's true.
you. Um,
That's true.
so it's really damaging. I mean, for people to do all these type of harassment, because that's what it is. It's harassment.
Yeah,
We have to call it for what it is, and it's psychological harassment. And they just don't pick the targets out of the blue. Some pick the target because they know them or they have some kind of vendetta.
yeah,
And like you mentioned, some even steal data.
yeah.
So it's really important to keep your data safe as well. Um, and I'm going to share a little bit about that later, why it's important. And I'm going to ask you, so is there any way that a person can recover from any such damage, or where they can report this, or what are the steps that they can take, um, to report this? Because okay, it's a cybercrime. We might not get, it may seem like we're not going to get nowhere, but the authorities have to know that this is actually happening, because you might survive it, but maybe somebody else may not survive it.
Yeah.
So is there anywhere that, what can they do, how can they um, follow up with getting some help or assistance?
So it is difficult to recover from the damage caused by trolling, gang stalking, online hate, cyber monitoring, logarithmic hacking, and bot attacks. It can be incredibly challenging. Um, each of these activities leave different kinds of scars: emotional, financial, and reputational, that can take months or even years to fully address. So let's take a closer look at why recovery is so tough and what it entails. So, emotional and mental health impact. Dealing with relentless trolling, gang stalking, online hate can lead to anxiety, depression, and even post traumatic stress. The constant exposure to negativity makes it hard for victims to feel safe or at peace online and sometimes offline too. Many people require counseling or therapy to process the experience, regain confidence, and build their mental health. Recovering from cyber harassment or attacks demands resilience, support, and sometimes professional help, as stated already. So many victims find that joining support groups or talking to others who already experienced that or something similar, that helps them feel less alone. In severe cases, legal recourse or enforcement involvement may be necessary, though outcomes can vary. So ultimately, recovery is about rebuilding a sense of control, self worth, and safety. By raising awareness, we can encourage empathy, promote mental health support, and highlight the importance of cybersecurity practices to help protect others from these all too common harms.
Well, so one of the things that I wanted to do was to share a little bit of why this topic is so important, why it's necessary to educate the community about it and educate people that this does happen. It causes a lot of damage, like you said, emotional, mental, financial, and that reparation also with repairing your reputation as
Yeah.
well. And there's some seriousness on this.
Yes.
And my message is that to anyone that does this, or anyone that is thinking of doing this, or anyone that have done this, it doesn't matter what company, agency, if you have clearance, to do kind of, this type of things. Invading in somebody's privacy is something serious. It's
Yes.
a legal crime. It is a crime, and you should not be doing that to a person. Think about it. It could be your sister, it could be your mother, it could be, your wife. You may even be targeted at one point or another. So
Yeah.
don't put people through so much pain and harassment. And I'm speaking from experience. Let me tell you, Stephanie,
Hmm.
I have gone through all of these, and right now I'm still trying to recuperate from everything. Um, and it has been a really big battle to even get some resolution. Because they know what you do at all times. It has been like a timeline. First, the identity theft, then second, stealing from a bank, then the emails, then other harassment things, and then the online dating website, the scamming. But I didn't get to that part that I gave people money because I
Yeah.
put in research, and that's why this is so important to, bring this message out. I didn't get to that point. So what I'm saying is, and I'm not going to talk so much more about what I went through because, I'm still like recovering from it.
Yes.
Even my Facebook, for 2 years, I was fighting to get my account back. But
Wow.
no matter what, I mean, I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how popular you are out there. It doesn't give you the right to hurt somebody in that manner. That's
Right.
bullying. It's bullying. It's psychological bullying.
Yes.
Like you say, you have to have a lot of resiliency. And thank God I'm a believer. And
Yeah.
God is my defender.
Yes.
But I just wanted to share that. Um, so what encouragement do you have for all the listeners who have gone through this type of situation, and what can they do to protect themselves from any further damage or harassment?
So, to anybody out there who's dealing with cyberbullying, remember you are not alone and this is not your fault. Cyberbullying can feel overwhelming, but there are ways to take back control and protect yourself. So, start by setting firm boundaries online,
Mhm.
limit the personal information you share, use strong passwords, and put your passwords in places um, that only you can get to. Um, for example, put it on your phone, in your notes in your phone, lock your phone, have your phone locked so that nobody can access your phone. Um, and then adjust your privacy settings on social media to keep unwanted eyes away. And something I want to add to this is I personally don't put a lot of personal things on social media.
Mhm.
That's just me. and
Mhm.
everybody is not that way. But I've had different things happen to me in my life, not on social media, that made me that way. That
Mhm.
made me start thinking everybody don't need to know my business. And I have people that don't want to have a relationship with me because they say I'm too private.
Mhm.
I'm too private because of things that I experience. So I know my boundaries when it comes to putting stuff on social media. So I don't put a lot of family on social media. People buy me gifts or I travel, things like that. I don't put that stuff on social media. So people don't never know. Um, and so people put too much on social media. People ask for too much from people on social media. For example,
Mhm.
I see people putting, pray for me or pray for my family or, and I'll just say those two things. But why are you asking? You don't even know what kind of prayers they're praying. I
Yes.
don't, I don't, I don't do that because
I don't either.
when I ask somebody to pray for me,
Mhm.
I know that they're going to pray for me and that their prayers are genuine. And they're
Yes.
not going to be going around, running their mouth talking about what I asked them to pray for. So I have very limited amount of people that I ask to pray for me, but it'll never be my Facebook group,
Yes. No,
my
definitely.
Facebook
Definitely.
friends and family.
Yes, definitely. I totally agree with you on that, because I limit what I put out there. It's everything is like posting professional stuff. At one point,
Yes,
when I first started Facebook, I thought it was a way that I can connect with other family members
yeah,
and other family members throughout the United States, and we share, pictures and stuff. I stopped putting pictures. I stopped putting, like you said, the vacation. Um, Vacation pictures or anything like that. I don't post anything about my kids. I don't post anything about anything pertaining to my personal life. I have
yes,
been very private on that.
yeah,
But when I first got the account, I was a little bit more friendly because I thought it was something good
yes,
nature. We learn our lesson. I'm not saying it was
yes,
from Facebook that they were able to accomplish all these things, because this also the cyber stalking and all the gang stalking stuff that can also come from a group of people that just don't, may not like you, or but that's their problem. They have to
right,
face God on that one. But
yes,
the main focus, the main focus that we're sharing this information is because we do not want, I would not want anyone to go through what I've been through with this situation.
right.
And I want to educate as many people as I can. And I'm very happy that you have your institute, that you're have that role of putting all that good information about bullying and about this type of things. And I appreciate that very much. And a lot
Thank you.
more people need this information.
Yes,
I thank you so much for sharing and providing this information for all of the listeners. And God bless you for doing this. Um, and I hope that it helps, I hope that it helps someone that may be going through this, that they can know they're not alone and that they can also seek the help that they need.
thank you for allowing me to come back to your show, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share this information because it is so important, and so many people are, damaged by things that are done to them, and they don't know how to recover.
Mhm.
Um, or they have a really hard time, or it takes a really long time for them to recover. And so emotionally, and once things affect you emotionally and mentally, it can get to you, end up getting to you physically, and so you end up with physical ailments, because you have all these things. So we have to learn to deal with things as they come and not hold on to them. We have to learn how to release them. And so once we release things, then we're not holding on to those things, so it can't affect us so strongly mentally, emotionally, physically, psychologically. So we just have to pay attention to what we're thinking, pay attention to what we're feeling, how we're feeling, and acknowledge it as a real thing. And then once we acknowledge it as a real thing, then we can release that thing. I don't want this. Because then we have to make a choice. Okay, I realize I'm upset. I realize I'm angry. I realize this is really affecting me negatively. What do I want to do with it? So I call that the fork in the road. So you're at the fork in the road. Do you want to keep going the same way you're going? You're going to keep getting the same thing you've been getting, or do you want to change directions, not knowing what's going to happen in that direction, but you just know you don't want what you have had, and so you're walking by faith. And so hopefully that helps. Release, let go, let God. He
Mhm.
got it. He don't have a problem with it. He see it. He knew it before you
Yes.
knew it, and so he can handle it. He can
Mhm.
handle it all.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. We learned, and like you said, letting go is very important, and that's why I'm able to share it. To share that situation. I don't want nobody to go through that. I
Yeah,
definitely don't. So I thank you again for
you're welcome.
sharing this information. It has been very helpful. I know that it's going to be helpful for others. So I thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing what you shared, because with people listening to that, that helps them to know they're not alone when they experience that, and there is hope and there is help and they can recover. So thank you for sharing that too.
You're
And thanks
welcome.
again for allowing me to be on your show.
Oh, you're welcome. It's always a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
God bless you.
God bless you.